All right, it's chapter 4, video 10. We're going to carry on with our number checker program, and we left off with declaring our variables. Now this one's a little bit different because we've got multiple variables here. We got a number 1 and a number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare the variables that I'm going to be storing, and I really don't know what numbers are going to be put in here. They could be integers, they could be decimals, or they could be really large numbers. So in that case, we're going to use a new declaration type called double. So we've got now we've got a few different data types. We've got string, integer, decimal, and double. So double just allows for very large numbers, and I use these when we're unsure of what's going to be entered in there. I have no idea. Now I could put in this as a decimal, but decimal kind of implies that it's a financial number, and these are not necessarily financial numbers, so we don't want to necessarily do that. So I'm going to use double in that case. Now, moving on to the assignment statement, we've done this now a few times, so I'm just going to paste in the code. I'm going to assign those variables by simply taking whatever was put into this particular control, and you can see here it's called the number 1 text box. Your name might be different, probably will be, and num2 text box, and I'm going to take both of those and I'm going to parse them into the same data type so that they equal each other. And we can see that that is the same as what we've done before. Now when it comes to calculate or the condition portion, again you got to think about the purpose of this program. When I click that first radio button, the greater than, this is the greater than button, that's really how we formulate the question. So it's an if statement, and there's going to be an expression. An expression is made up of 3 parts. So what really I'm doing is I'm just comparing, is number 1, is it greater than number 2? Now it depends on how you want to write your expression. You could write it as number 1 is less than number 2, and then you can output the results based on that answer. Alright, so what I mean by that is that you can either make it true or false, so you can kind of reverse the logic, is what I'm trying to say. So if I was to say if this is greater than, I could make that false. If I made it less than, I could say that it's true. Now in this example you'll notice as well I'm not using braces, and this is a little feature that you can use if you only have one line of one statement within your expression here, within your condition statement. If I really want to, I could put braces in here. I could go brace here, and I could go to the end, and I could put a brace here, and then I could go here, I could put a brace there, and put a brace here. There we go. But there's a lot of extra lines of code that aren't really necessary. So I tend not to put in braces if I only have one line of code. So there's a little bit of a syntax little trick, and it kind of tightens up the code and makes it look a lot easier to read. So if the condition is true, this is what I want it to happen, and if the condition is false, this is what I want it to happen. So that's kind of why I use this comparison operator in my expression, is I wanted it to flow like that. Now you could write this differently. You could switch this line with this line. And if you did that, you'd have to change the comparison operator to greater than. So just look at it in the sense that number 1, whatever gets entered into here, when I click on the greater, is it greater than number 2? So in that case, number 1 is less than number 2. I want it to display that's true. Okay, so again, we could swap those two around, maybe make the logic a little bit easier to follow. I probably should have done that. So I could use greater than, this condition should have been greater than, and then switch these two around. Anyways, that's it's still going to work. We run it. Alright, so I'm running it, and it is false. 3 is not greater than 2. Oh, well there's an error right there. So let's fix that in the next video.